This is a video, and it's to encourage people that are involved in a particular religion to actually wake up. The whistle is being blown, and those who have ears to hear, I just wish you could really wake up from this, because there is an organisation that's masquerading as a religion, but in fact what they are is a big multinational business, tax-free, tax-exempt, and they sell an awful lot of merchandise, even merchandise that they deem so holy to have the tetragrammaton on it, which is the name of God in Hebrew. And yet they're making money. It can be bought. Now, it's usually sold among Jehovah's Witness owned kind of companies, but the point I'm trying to make is that it is an industry. And then they sell badges, they sell all sorts of things. But it's interesting that with the outset of their new image and their internet site and their web pages and the colours of their logo, which is blue and white, that it's very interesting that it matches other groups that have the similar logo, but they sell an awful lot of things. Now, the everyday kind of Jehovah Witness wouldn't perhaps be aware of how much money is being turned over, even though there is access to see that as a tax-exempt charity, they have to declare money coming in and money going out, and they are raking it in. They really are. I mean, they're selling off their main properties and they're receiving hundreds of millions for that. But in the meantime, the regular witnesses, they're really kept in the dark, and they're told to behave in a way that, no, you are a happy people, and yes, wear the badge and the logo. I mean, they even have their own flag. Yet there was a time when Jehovah Witnesses were taken out of the organisation for draping themselves in flags or saluting a flag. And with the psychology of saying, you know, this is the punishment, you're going to die. And all I'm asking you, if you are Jehovah Witness, can you not consider that maybe what you're being told is the words of your governing body, men? Now, former public speaker called Jordan Maxwell, in fact he still does public speaking, but he did wonderful breakdowns because he himself used to be a Jehovah Witness, and he saw with his own eyes that it was a Zionist book publishing company under the guise of religion. Now, isn't that amazing? I mean, just look at the names of the governing body members. Take a look, and then look at the founder and where he's buried and the iconography he had. You know, and some of the other presidents of the Jehovah Witness organisation. You know, I mean, the thing about Jehovah Witnesses is that they're encouraged to inform and spy, and they're a very superstitious bunch. And what they're not aware of is that they've been indoctrinated. And once the religion has you, you know, they sort of make you think, oh yes, you know, you could die at any moment, and you know, and all these bad things could happen. Yeah, the world isn't a great place. But the point is, it's the fear factor that they instill. But worst is the way that children are suffering in silence. I mean, the Australian Royal Commission, they did an examination in lots of religions and organisations, and they found that Jehovah Witnesses did not report paedophilia to the police. They have so many, they've got an archive of paedophiles on their books, but they see paedophilia, child sex abuse, as a sin and not a crime. I mean, just think of it. Children suffering in silence, and then the pressure they have to conform and to get baptized and to be a part of it. and the nightmares of, if you don't obey what this religion says. And most of it is their own doctrine. But I feel sorry for the wives. They're made to live up to this Stepford wives scenario, which is unrealistic. And the hidden battered women, there's a lot of suffering in the religion. But rather than say, oh, we need to do something about this, they say, shh, keep it quiet. You don't want to bring reproach upon Jehovah's name. I mean, men, women and children are suffering in silence because they're putting the reputation of a man-made religion, and that's the point of it. But they say, no, we are the approved of God. And yet, all I'm asking is for, if you are involved in the Jehovah Witnesses, you're always told, oh, you can't ask that question, and you can get in trouble and kicked out. And there's so much fear. And it's a case of, no, you can't question, you can't ask why the scriptures are being altered and changed, or prophecies are being rejiggled, time frames are being played around with, or you can't ask for transparency. Why is it you're being fined £4,000 a day for not revealing your whole archive list on database of all the paedophiles that have gone unreported? And then there's the families. They actually have Watchtower magazines telling you, shun your family. Don't speak to them because they're not following the religion anymore, so you can't speak to them. And it's a case of, no, I mean, there are mothers and daughters that haven't spoken for years. There's husbands and wives. If the wife chooses not to be a member of that religion anymore, then the husband cannot speak to her. In fact, it's a point that, if you see them on the street, cross the road and all of this, and they try and make out that this is what Jesus would have done. I don't think so. I mean, if you've got elderly parents and they decide not to be a Jehovah Witness anymore, that means you will not be honouring your mother and your father, because you're not supposed to talk to them again. And they're always saying, oh, we're happy people, but it's not really true. And deep down, if you're a Jehovah Witness and you're watching this, which you shouldn't be doing anyway, because they orchestrate everything you do regarding what you read, what you see, you shouldn't be looking at this. However, you're looking at this because you know that, there's been so many changes. There's no accountability for biblical changes and changing the date of 1914. This generation will never pass away. And all the exposure that's happened regarding Jehovah Witnesses not reporting paedophiles. They don't even go to the police. They say to the family, we're going to kick you out if your son or daughter says that such and such touched me up. But what I'm asking for is for you to look at the connections, look at the colour, look at the Masonic links. And they say, oh, no, there isn't any. But look where the founder is buried. It's under a pyramid. And look at the emblems that the early Watchtower had. But again, you've got to say, is it a religion or am I in a cult? How can I tell the difference? Because you're restricted from only reading the Watchtower, you're not going to know. And unless you're in a frame of mind where you're going towards the Bible only, and you're not looking into the Jehovah Witness superstition, because they're a very superstitious bunch, and you investigate the religion, but you investigate it through all sources, not just the narrative of the witnesses where they say, don't look at anything else but us, because everything else is Satan. But I'm asking you, think about the children suffering in silence. And at the end of the day, you're supposed to be following a Bible. Well, follow the Bible and try and see the difference between a man-led organisation, because they put themselves in that position. They say that the governing body members, they say that they are God's chosen. Well, what arrogance.